What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live here on a Monday, starting off the week right after the Blazers ended the weekend wrong. Hopefully the nightmare is over. The Blazers play once again tonight. We'll preview that game a little bit. We'll also talk about the major trade that went down today as the Lakers traded for Rui Hachimura. We'll tie that into how that could affect the Blazers and maybe some of their plans. And Eric, how was your Monday?
It's going pretty good. How about yours?
It's going good. So I just dropped a first trade deadline preview. I'm probably not going to get to all the 30 teams. That's too much to do. But I'm dropping trade deadline previews over on our NBA channel, NBA Uprise. I will post a link in the chat and put a link in the description. So I'm doing trade deadline previews for different teams. I thought that was a pretty cool video, and the graphics in that you'll see on the trade deadline stream. Do I even have the link in the description? I do have the link in the description. Awesome. I will copy and paste it from there and put it in chat. You can go subscribe to that NBA channel by using that link. Anyway, let's hop into picks against the spread, as we always do to start these streams off. And it's getting entertaining, Eric. Once again, Blazers Uprise Live and Picks Against the Spread is brought to you by BetOnline. All the spreads in this segment are featured on BetOnline, so if you like any of this action, you can get in on it with the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive a 50% reward bonus. So if you're feeling confident, maybe more confident than the rest of us right now as we're all below 500, then check out BetOnline. Thank you to them for sponsoring this stream. So as we look at the standings, Eric, oh my goodness, it's absolutely jam-packed. You theoretically could have 6 different people take the lead today. We all sucked on Thursday, except for Zach, who went 5-0. Next best was you at 2-3. Everybody else was 1-4 or 0-5. Chat, you were 0-5. Jackson was 0-5 as well. So Jackson still maintained first because everybody else sucked, but we got 4 people within one game. That's me, Connor, Eric, and Jackson. Eric, Jackson, and Connor have had the lead at some point. I have not. I've been trying to fight back. I do have the highest pick percentage, but I can't pick a double down right. Only one person won their double down. That was Zach. Thursday was awful.
Yep. Although I do, this shows how bad it is, but when I go 2-3 and move up into first, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. And I mean, everybody's really close. Zach's only 8 games back. He gained 5 games, went from 13 games back to 8. So we'll see if Zach can go on a run here. I mean, Aeromancer, despite him being almost 40 games below 500, is still in the picture at only 17 back. I mean, Zach's shown you can make up 5 games in a day when you're only picking 4 of them. We only picked 4 games, and Zach made up 5. So it's anybody's ball game at this point. It makes it extremely entertaining. A lot of fun right now with how jam-packed these standings are. Anyway.
And welcome to everyone in chat. Hope you guys are all having a good day. Just keep in mind that you can participate as well, but you're voting on the point spread, not the winner of the game outright. So if it's, Blazers minus 8.5, that means the Blazers have to win by 9 to win if you vote for the Blazers. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. And I don't know why the NBA Uprise link I posted didn't work. It looked like you posted the same exact link and yours worked and mine didn't. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway. Very strange.
Maybe because you didn't put a space after the colon or whatever. I don't know.
Possible. Anyway, let's hop into game number 1. We got 7 games today. The Orlando Magic start things off hosting the Boston Celtics. Boston is a 7.5-point road favorite.
Yep. So the Magic actually have Jonathan Isaac available to play. So the only one listed on their injury report is Chuma Ekiki, and that's been quite a long time since the Magic only had one person listed on their injury report, which is crazy. For the Boston Celtics, they have Marcus Smart and Robert Williams both out, along with Malcolm Brogdon, Danilo Gallinari, and just those 4, I guess. Jason Tatum is playing after sitting out on Saturday.
Alrighty. Jonathan Isaac is back.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's going to play, but
Yeah, we'll see.
When I have Aeromancer's picks, let me get those real quick. He is taking the Magic in this one.
I'm also going to take the Magic.
I am going to take the Celtics.
Okay, you go Celtics.
Jackson's going Magic.
Chat's very close on this one.
Trevin's taking Magic. What?
Jackson's going Magic?
Yeah. I was going to say that just chalk it up to Celtics. He usually always takes Celtics.
Yeah. We're waiting on Connor and Zach. Have we seen either of them? Or do we have to go yell at them?
I don't know.
We might need new mods, Eric. We might need new mods. They were not there to help us with the chaos last night except for Jackson, and then Connor and Zach are just gone. Also, you are way to the right in your webcam. Not way to the right. I could probably center you a little better.
I can fix it. Hold on.
Okay, I'll let you fix it.
I'm busy messaging
Yeah.
these clowns.
These fools. Anyway, chat looks like is going Boston. We will have to keep track of percentages for chat. Boston. There we go. Meanwhile, your boy Taylor here every stream. Yeah, Devin's here too. And Devin's helped me out with some stuff too. Mods, you better watch your backs, alright? Connor, Zach. We should have an election for moderators. And they should campaign. That would be entertaining. Anyway. Mine just said YouTube, Trevin. On my end, it said the whole link, so that's confusing. Anyway, well, I guess we're going to move on and hope these fools come in before 4:10. That's when this game tips off in 20 minutes and make their picks. Kind of frustrated getting held up like this, but whatever. Game number 2, you got the Detroit Pistons hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. You got another road favorite. The Bucks are favored by 11.
All right, so the Bucks are just without Serge Ibaka, who is not with the team because he has requested a trade. But it looks like they get Chris Middleton back, and Giannis is going to play. For the Detroit Pistons, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, Marvin Bagley, and Caden Cunningham are out.
Alrighty.
I'm going to go Bucks. Looks like Trevin is too.
You're going Bucks. Trevin's going Bucks. I'm gonna go Bucks as well. I'm very tempted to take Detroit. 11 points is a ton. Well, Connor's alive. All right, Connor. Game 1. Who you picking? Hurry up.
That means I need
Let's
to
go.
Should I call Zach live on here again?
Yeah. Again, yes. That should just be a regular segment.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
See if he answers.
Yeah.
Do, do, do. Well, he's not going to answer this time.
He knows better now.
It's his chance to be on the stream, and he's not going to take it this time.
Please leave your message for Zachary.
Don't let it read off the I muted you. I was like, watch it read off the number out loud. That would have been bad. That would have been really bad.
Yeah, I would have stopped it.
Yeah, I was ready to mute you, though. I don't want to leak his number. Anyway, chat's going Bucks. Bucks for chat. What did Airmancer go with? Connor went with the Bucks. I don't know what Connor... Oh, Zach's here. He didn't answer, but he's here. He went Bucks. Connor went Bucks, and Aeromancer went what? Bucks?
Pistons.
Oh, Aeromancer Island. Congratulations, Aeromancer. Who'd you got? Zach and Connor. Who are you guys going for game one? Zach says, I'm looking at my phone right now. It didn't register the call. So he blocked your number.
Oh, man. Oh.
That's tough.
Pathetic.
Make your pick for this game before you restart your phone. Celtics. Connor, no, you weren't here. Magic, Isaac's back. The only guy out is Okiki, and then the Celtics are without like Gallo, Smart, yeah,
and Robert Williams.
Zach went Celtics, and then
I mean, it rang, so I'm not blocked. I could have left a voicemail.
Should have yelled at him in his voicemail, like a Karen. Magic for Connor. 5v3 on this. Interesting. I like it. And then, all right, Aeromancer Island for game number 2. Game number 3, you got the Rockets.
I'm missing someone on. Who am I missing? Jackson. What did Jackson go with game 2? Bucks. Okay. Aeromancer Island. All right, we got it. Thanks.
Yep. Game 3, you got the Rockets hosting the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, another road favorite. 5.5 point road favorite.
All right. Timberwolves are without Jordan McLaughlin and Karl Anthony Towns. They got Bryn Forbes, Taurean Prince, and Rudy Gobert still listed as questionable. I was hoping to get an update on that before the game. Let me just double check and make sure real quick.
Connor says I can call him. Maybe I will.
Yeah, no update on. Oh, game time decision for Rudy Gobert. So don't know, won't know. For the Rockets, they're without Kevin Porter Jr. and Jabari Smith.
Okay. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
I love how chat just like votes before hearing the rest of the injuries as if that's a smart thing to do.
I'm going to go with the Timberwolves, I guess. Houston's been bad. Jackson says Wolves ?
I love the confidence, Jackson.
Is that Wolves without a question mark or you?
He's picking the Wolves, is what he's saying. He's just not confident in it, hence the question mark. What Aeromancer go with?
Aeromancer is Timberwolves.
Alright. I mean, I'm going Timberwolves too. Boring, but I'm going Timberwolves, and Trevin's going Timberwolves, and everybody's going Timberwolves, except maybe chat, because they're only at 58%, 55%. Yes, I got you, Jackson. I speak your language. No island for chat. They were trying to get to their island, and Connor ruined it. So now it's going to go back up for the Timberwolves. There it goes. And Zach went Rockets. Oh, Zach already went Rockets, so no island for anyone. Chat goes Timberwolves with 51% of the vote. Alrighty, so Connor and Zach Rockets. everybody else Timberwolves. Game 4, you got the Bulls hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Chicago's a 1-point home favorite.
All right, so Atlanta has Onyeka Okongwu out. The Bulls have Lonzo Ball, Javonte Green, and Goran Dragic. I'm going to take the Hawks, as is Trevin. Aeromancer is on the Bulls. Jackson Bulls.
Okay, you went... Wait, hold on. I got a text that I just read. You're going who?
I am Trevin and I Hawks.
Okay.
And then Aeromancer Jackson are Chicago Bulls.
I think I'm going to go with the... Oh boy. I'll take the Bulls as well. Zach goes Hawks. Connor goes... I don't know. I forgot to put the chat poll up. Chat's going... Chat's close. I'll end it once Connor sends in his pick, because Connor's slow. Maybe he just wants me to call him on stream, is what he's trying to do. I'm not going to give in, though. How this going to affect the Blazers? We'll talk about the trade in a second. Sorry, our mods are making this segment go slow. Specifically, 2 of them. Alright, Hawks for Connor. And chat is 51% Hawks. So, me, Jackson, Aeromancer, Bulls, everybody else Hawks. Game 5 of 7. You got the Jazz hosting the Hornets. Jazz are 7.5-point home favorites.
All right. For the Hornets, they have Kelly Oubre out, Cody Martin doubtful, and LaMelo Ball is questionable. The Jazz just have Kelly Olynyk out.
Alrighty. There's the poll. Oh, I don't have polls set up for this one. Let me do that.
Jazz, no way. What? Ben Darling? Hello, Ben.
Ben Darling, no way.
Oh, wow.
It's a name I haven't seen in years.
Hello, Ben. Funny how Ben only comes back when the Blazers absolutely suck and it looks like they're going to have a lottery pick again, and we can talk draft maybe.
Yeah. That's funny.
Connor and Aeromancer. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Connor, Aeromancer, Hornets. Jackson, Jazz. Trevin, Jazz.
Huh. LaMelo being questionable makes this difficult. If he plays, I think the Jazz can still cover. If he doesn't play, I think the Jazz definitely will cover, so I'm going to go Jazz.
Zach says Jazz 2.
If I knew LaMelo was playing, I'd go Hornets.
Yeah.
Trevin and Eric is who we're waiting on.
I'm going to go... we'll go Hornets.
Okay. Hornets for you, and then Trevin is going with the Jazz. All right. 3 versus 5. Connor, Arrow, Eric. Game number 6, you got your Portland Trailblazers somehow as 8.5-point favorites at home against the Spurs.
Yeah, well, the good news is the Blazers only have one person listed on their injury report, and that's Justice Winslow. So instead of going from probable to out, GP2 is going to go from not on the injury report to out.
I was going to say.
But anyways, Blake Wesley and Devin Vassell out for the Spurs.
I was going to say.
Oh, this is disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
Aeromancer and Jackson are already on the Blazers, so no Island U, Jackson. I'm just going to take the points. Screw it. Why do I always take the road team? I don't know what
Blazers either lose a close game or they get a blowout win.
Yeah.
So do we think the Blazers are going to win tonight or not? I said on last night's postgame show I think they'll come out well today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually going to roll with the Blazers.
All right.
Which is completely idiotic, but...
I know, Daniel, right?
Trevin goes Blazers. Oh, I'm surprised. I'm surprised we're going Blazers this heavily.
Am I gonna island this one?
Connor went Blazers.
Wow.
We're not being prisoners of the moment. Good job, everyone.
The Blazers played like absolute trash for like a month and a half, but go on.
Well, I mean, they beat Dallas a couple times in a row. If we were coming off of those games, it would have definitely been a lot easier to take the Blazers.
Yeah.
Zach goes Spurs.
All right, Zach.
He just saved you from having to double down against the Blazers.
Yeah.
So. Chat is going, let me fix that. No, why? Go there. There. Okay. Chat's going Blazers.
Okay.
And then final game, we got the Kings hosting the Grizzlies, and the Kings are 2-point home favorites.
All right. So let me just double check on these guys. Danny Green's out, of course. Steven Adams, John Morant, questionable. The Kings only list Chimezi Metu as questionable. So they're pretty healthy. And once again, we're sitting in this situation where Jaw's questionable and we won't know.
Does he normally play when he's questionable?
We went through this last time, and he didn't. We determined that he does, but then he didn't play that game. Whatever game that was last week that we did the same exact thing for.
I'm going to take the Kings. Grizzlies haven't played well lately, and Jaw being questionable. And Grizzlies at home, yeah, I'm taking Kings.
Jackson and Trevin are both on the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
He's on
Connor says Kings light the beam.
Zach. Aeromancer, Connor, and Zach all Kings.
What are you going with?
I mean, I guess I'm 6-0 for the road team right now, so I'll take a home team. So I don't have that.
You're going Kings.
Yeah.
Chat definitely got peer pressured into the Kings. They saw everybody taking Kings, and that percentage absolutely flipped. So, chat's just a bunch of followers. No, I'm just kidding. Before anybody gets upset, I'm kidding. Jackson and Trevin right there in the middle going Grizzlies. Everybody else going Kings. What's up?
I was just gonna say that outside of Wait, can you put the Timberwolves Rockets back up?
Maddie, that sounds awesome. Sure. Timberwolves Rockets. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, go ahead, Maddie. I just didn't get everyone's picks for that game.
Jackson, it's because we got Lakers in the title, and it's Trade in the title, and it's Rui Hachimura in the title. That's why we got 140 people in here right now, and we're still on picks. But, yeah, so Maddie says, Eric and Tori, I have 2 tickets to tonight's game that I can't make it to. Mind if I give them away to the first chatter who can answer 2 questions about Dame? I can wait until you're done with picks. You can start it, should I say start it now or after picks, Eric? What do you think?
Let's just do it now.
Let's just do it now, yeah. So, feel free to ask those 2 questions, and then
if you want tickets to tonight's game,
if you want tickets to
away.
tonight's game, yeah, there you go. There's your chance. There's your opportunity. Anyway, time for double downs.
But Jackson and I have all but 2 games different. As number 1, that's crazy.
Yeah. Who's chat's double down?
Chat's double down is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks.
The biggest spread.
Aeromancer's double down is opposite chat on his island of the Detroit Pistons. He unknowingly doubled down on an island.
Nice.
Good for him.
I just think he's throwing caution to the wind now down there in the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Kings for Connor.
Kings.
And I'll read off those questions once you ask it, Maddie.
I think he asked one, didn't he? Oh, message retracted.
He trolled y'all.
I think the question was like, what was his major in college or something?
I think he's gonna do the first 2. Or I don't know. How he's doing.
Yeah. All right. And then, yeah, can we have other people's double text?
Yeah, I'm trying to say.
No, I'm like asking for.
Yeah, for mods, yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Hawks.
He accidentally sent before typing the second question. Whoops. The Hawks for you. Alright. I'm gonna go with the... Okay, Hawks for Eric. I'm gonna go with the freaking Timberwolves.
Okay.
I suck at double downs.
Connor Airwatch.
Zach said Kings earlier. Okay, cool.
Thank you, Zach.
Sorry, I didn't expect you to copy Connor. I'm waiting on Trevin and Jackson.
Trevin said
Trevin
Wolves.
says Wolves. Okay. Alright, Trevin, let's get it.
Your Portland Trailblazers.
Alright, Jackson. That's pretty good.
All right, got it.
Alright, so Zach, Connor, Kings. Me, Trevin, Wolves. Aeromancer versus Chat. Aeromancer's doubling down on an island. That's Bucks versus Pistons. And then Eric's going Hawks. And then Jackson's going with your Portland Trailblazers. And that's picks against the spread. Once again, Bet Online. If you want to get in on any of those spreads, use Bet Online with the promo code BELIEVE. BOEAV. Thank you to them for sponsoring us. Anyway.
That's not very nice, Taylor. Jeez. You say I'm no fun. Jeez, man.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. Maddie, you can sort that out, man. Yeah, run whatever contest you want to give away. They're your tickets, so whatever you want to do with them, man. Appreciate you giving them to the community. That's fun. Anyway. let's talk about a heartbreaking trade, Eric, because it's my guy, Rui Hachimura, former Gonzaga Bulldog, Gonzaga legend himself, former Washington Wizard because he got traded. And what team did he get traded to? The freaking Los Angeles Lakers. The dreaded freaking Lakers. Yeah, it sucks because I'm a Rui fan, obviously, as a Gonzaga fan, and him being in a Laker uniform is going to be disgusting. But the Lakers trade Kendrick Nunn in a couple of seconds. It was like 2 or 3. I don't know. There was like weird wording on one of them. I don't know. It was what, 3 seconds?
It's 3 seconds. Yeah, they just already owned one of the seconds or something, so they just made it the worst of the two. It's kind of like one of the picks that we got in the Pelicans trade.
Yeah. So 3 seconds and Kendrick Nunn for Rui Hachimura. Doesn't even go for a first. And yeah, this sucks because that's a pretty good steal for the Lakers, in my opinion. They're going to have to pay him, which is why Rui didn't get traded for more. But to be able to get a guy with that talent level, Eric, for that package is a good trade. He's not the best fit there because he's more of like a bench shot creator, not somebody that's going to like shoot a ton of threes or necessarily a super high clip, but he has improved from there and he's good at attacking closeouts. So I think he'll be fine. I think there was other situations that would have been a little better fit for him, especially like teams with, maybe worse teams that could have given him the touches to grow into a potential 20-point per game scorer, because I do think he has that upside. He's averaging 13 points per game and 24 minutes per game right now. But he's a talented guy. And he's definitely going to help their team just from a shot creation standpoint. It'll be interesting to see if they start him or bench him, but value-wise, I think that's a really good trade.
Yeah, so I don't know if you read this message earlier, but I do have some news on whether or not we're involved or interested in Rui.
No idea what you're talking about, so let's hear it.
All right. First, I have to call out Bonnie in chat because she always claims that she can't come to a watch party on Monday, but now all of a sudden, if she gets tickets, she can go to a game just down the road on a Monday. That's kind of weird.
Messed up. That's messed up, Bonnie. God dang it.
No, but anyways, so this trade does not get the Wizards out of the tax because they had to take on Nunn's contract. So what I heard was that they called several teams that had trade exceptions, including your Portland Trailblazers, and the price would have only been 2 seconds if there was no contract going back. And so whether you like that or not, the Blazers were unwilling to go into the tax to get Rui. Personally, I think I'm going to be the opposite of you. I'm fine with that. Yes, Rui would help, I think, the bench scoring, obviously, but I don't know if he's worth going into the tax for. But the Blazers, in this particular instance, were not willing to do it, and they weren't alone. No other team was willing to do it. They called the Celtics, the Spurs, and apparently the Pacers were the closest team to accepting those kind of terms, but the Pacers wanted to dump a contract on them. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm upset because that would have been a great deal,
Daddy.
asset-wise. But also it puts us right up against the hard cap, so pulling off something else if you're gaining any salary is tough.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're talking about a dude who's only 24 years old, Eric. He's almost 25. But he's 24 years old, averaging 13 points per game in 24 minutes per 36. That's 19 points per game. 6'8" forward, right? He hasn't been given like a super large role, but he is one of the better bench scorers in the league. Could be a six-man caliber scorer at a forward position, which is hard to find. That dynamic of a bench scoring forward, especially one of that age. And
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if it's because they have other things planned, but if they don't have other things planned, or if Jody's being a cheapskate, not paying the tax after she's ducked it in prior years so that she could avoid the repeater tax, then I'm frustrated. Yeah.
I mean, the Blazers suck right now, though. I think if they were
time to pick a freaking direction then.
If they were winning, I think she would be more. But I do think
it's time to pick a direction then.
I do think before you get upset, I would wait to see what they do if they do.
That's where I'm not like completely losing my mind right now. You know, like that's where I'm not completely upset. You know, like I don't know.
Rui has been. I mean, this team needs shooting and defense, and Rui has not been good at either of those. So
he's a career almost 36% 3-point shooter.
I know, but not this year.
He's 34%.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if there are better options to go in the tax for similar stuff, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is they better figure that out. You know what I mean? Like, if it's something where we do nothing at the trade deadline and we are still directionless as a franchise, and it's because Jody just doesn't want to pay the tax after she's ducked the repeater tax by ducking the tax in previous years, then I'm going to be pissed off. This organization has to choose a direction. And if it's not to get better, then it needs to be to get younger. The thing is, Rui could have been both. You know what I mean? That's the frustrating part of it.
But
also, it's like they took back Kendrick Nunn. Winslow's cheaper than Kendrick Nunn.
But it would have put us in the... We still would have been in the tax.
Yeah, but we would have been barely in the tax. So, I don't know. We got to figure something out.
I mean, tax is tax. It doesn't matter how far we're into it.
Yes, but you know this wouldn't be the only trade if that's the case. You know, like, that would be tax that we could duck with a follow-up. So, I don't know. Or duck as part of the same trade sending Keon Johnson somewhere. I don't know. Or Justice Winslow to a third team and they get Keon. Right? Like, if they're willing to trade... Because they're how far were they into the tax before this trade?
The Wizards are 1.8 million.
Before this trade? So Winslow supposedly has this value elsewhere. You couldn't flip him to a third team and trade Keon to the Wizards. And if they're willing to take 2 seconds and Keon has this first round value like people like to claim, I mean, you could have potentially gotten Rui for Winslow and Keon. And I think been able to stay out of the tax after signing a prorated contract or been right up against it.
They would have still been over.
Okay, then trade out Greg Brown and sign a prorated contract because they're right on the line. Like, that's the thing is we can sit here and play the what-if game, but basically, you have to do something productive for this team. This team needs something productive. If you don't choose a direction at the trade deadline with a move for better or worse, like, I'm going to be frustrated because this team is directionless right now. You're playing the long game and you're playing the try to win now game and you're not doing a great job at either. So this dude could have helped you with both, but Jody doesn't want to pay the tax. So what's the solution? We just sit here and suck, but we don't suck enough to get Wembanyama? Like, basically, I will be more upset with this if the team does nothing at the deadline. If this team does something that, you know, uses the trade exception they have that could have absorbed Rui Hachimura, and they use it on a PJ Washington or a Cam Johnson, then I'm okay with that, right? But that's the thing, is like they got to choose a direction. They got to do something.
Yeah. Well, I do know that this also makes the Wizards still have to make another trade because they're not going to pay the tax this year. And I think this saved a few $100,000, or maybe even a little more than that. But I think that they can still trade if they get someone to take one of their lower contracts and don't take a contract back. So it'd be really weird if the Blazers, like, they didn't go in the tax for Rui, so I don't think they're going to go in the tax for, like, Daniel Gafford. But we could, in theory, trade, Greg Brown to a third team or something and take on that. But I just I don't know. I could I can see it both ways. I can see people who say Rui still has potential. In the right situation, he could be a lot better. And I understand taking a risk on that. But I also understand if they didn't think he was good enough to warrant doing that. So I guess I'm fine with it for now. Like you said, if they don't end up doing anything and we just go into the rest of the season knowing we could have added Rui and maybe salvage something with our bench, so that would be fine. But as of right now, yeah, it's kind of hard to know what the direction of this team is until we see what actually happens.
Yeah.
But it could also be, there's still 2.5 weeks until the deadline. So maybe it's as simple as they didn't want to, do that now. If they were forced to do it now, their answer was leaning towards no, versus if this would have been like a last second offer before the deadline, maybe they say yes.
Well, then they're doing it backwards from last year's trade deadline.
Yeah.
Because they should have been more patient last year.
Well, maybe they learned. Maybe they learned.
But yeah, basically, okay, here's two things. This affects the Blazers because Rui Hachimura was on the final year of his contract, and he went for pretty low value, given that he's a free agent this offseason, and there's a couple other guys making around the same amount of money that are also free agents this offseason that this could have set a bit of a market value for players in similar situations. Those two guys are Cam Johnson and PJ Washington. Cam Johnson of the Phoenix Suns, PJ Washington of the Charlotte Hornets. Eric, you talked about them in your video that you dropped a couple days ago on the main channel, so if you haven't watched that, you definitely should. Obviously, the Rui stuff is no longer relevant, but it's good information for other guys.
Other than the title and a small portion of it, it wasn't hugely based on Rui anyway, so...
Yeah.
Still relevant.
Yeah. Cam Johnson would be great, and he's a free agent, and he's on a $6 million a year expiring, so it's like I assume he has more value than Rui, but if not, if Rui was willing,
does,
but if Rui was willing, Washington was willing to trade Rui for 2 seconds and teams were saying no, then what is Cam Johnson going to get back is my question. The problem is if the Blazers had future first, it would be a lot easier, but with their first this year, right now it looks like it's not going to convey, so they're going to owe a first next year to Chicago if the Blazers miss the playoffs. Then how do you trade the value for a Cam Johnson or a PJ Washington? Where do you find that value? How do you come up with the price, Eric? And that's why this Rui trade, not doing this, is kind of worrisome, because it's like this is something that they could have done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure they can do anything else that's better than this.
I think the other thing this pretty clearly indicates to me is that they more than likely are going to be shopping Hart or someone else, that we haven't considered, like Nurk. And do, those players would fit in the 2-for-1 type trades we've been talking about for weeks. So, like if that's like a secondary part of that trade where we somehow get like Gafford and Cam Johnson or something like that, just for sending Hart to another team or whether that's the Suns or not. But I think this is clearly setting it up that they're going to do that, because then they can also fill 2 holes but stay under the tax possibly still, if that's the final word from Jody that she isn't willing to go into the tax.
Well, my final word is we need a new owner, but people aren't going to like this, but I'm expecting a terrible trade deadline. And I've been the guy that's like preaching, oh, don't overreact. Don't, the preseason sucked, but don't overreact, right? Like, I've been the guy who's been preaching positivity and optimism and this and that all season long. And it's gotten to the point where I actually get more criticism now for being too positive than too negative. First time in my life I've had that. Because everybody's always said, Tori, you're way too negative. This year I've been way too positive, apparently. But this is not due to not getting Rui, Vega. Okay? Don't call me that either. What's wrong with you? Don't be an ass. This is due to multiple years of disappointment at the trade deadline. Okay? The best move we have done in the past, 2-3 years is Gary Trent Jr. for Norman Powell, how'd that turn out? Last year sucked. Do you guys trust Cronin? I don't think I trust Cronin. The Blazers have no future first. The Blazers are stuck right now. So, I'm not expecting a good trade deadline. I would love to be pleasantly surprised. Okay? I'm not saying that Cronin can't have a great trade deadline. I'm just saying what I'm expecting. I don't expect a good trade deadline whatsoever. I'm not going to get my hopes up. If he pleasantly surprises me, cool. But I am going to brace for a terrible trade deadline. And I have no idea what this organization's plans are. So, this has nothing to do with Rui Hachimura. This is what I felt like before this trade went down. You guys always try and take something I say and attribute it to something else when it's not true, and it's just silly. Just listen to me. What are you guys expecting? Those of you who are expecting a good NBA trade deadline, what are you expecting this organization to do? Are you actually expecting Jody to go into the tax? Because if the Blazers don't go into the tax, it makes things a lot harder for the Blazers. I mean, not willing to go into the tax was part of the reason why they didn't do this available deal. So, if they're not willing to go in the tax, and they have no future first-round picks, what do you guys expect them to do that's going to be positive, that changes the direction of this team for the better? They'll probably do something, but I am not expecting a positive trade deadline. Okay? You guys can expect whatever you want, but I do not have my hopes up.
So, Josh Hart for Grayson Allen it is.
Or did you just take a call like Shams or Woj?
No, my daughter pooped and I had to make sure her butt was clean before she was done.
We don't need to hear all that.
Yeah.
You could have said tending to family matters or something, but
I like to be honest.
Cool. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm expecting from this trade deadline, Eric, is exactly that.
Having to wipe the butt.
Yeah. Crap, basically.
Yep.
Anyway. Are you expecting a good trade deadline, Eric? Are you expecting a bad trade deadline? What are your expectations? Because I feel like we always get our hopes up, and then the trade deadline sucks. Other than the Norman Powell trade, but that trade didn't even end up being that great. I always feel like we're disappointed. Almost every big time trade we go in like with super high hopes, and then we get disappointed. I'm just expecting a crappy trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up with Cam or PJ Washington, I think it's still salvageable, and I'd be happy. Like, as long as we didn't, like, give up 2 unprotected firsts for that or something.
Doesn't Jody have to be willing to go into the tax to get either of those guys with the realistic packages out there?
No, because I think, like I just said, they're going to trade hard, I'm pretty sure. And they're going to use that because that's $13 million, so that gives them a lot of wiggle room for other trades. Plus, you can probably still get an asset for him.
I just don't expect them to be able to get a good asset for him.
Yeah, so
I expect them to get like a second-round pick for Hart. And then what? Sure, you save money, but you don't have future first. Then what?
I mean, they're not trading him if they can only get a second. But I think that's several.
What I'm expecting.
There's several teams that are still interested in Hart.
Eric, wouldn't we have said that we're not trading Norman Powell or Robert Covington last year if we were getting like 2 seconds and Justice Winslow and Keon Johnson?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm scared, man.
Who's wait, hold on. I'm gonna figure this out.
Okay. I don't know where you're figuring it out, but I'm eager to hear.
I'm looking for like a late first-round draft pick that's been terrible this year that they could justify as being like a first-round value. Wendell Moore Jr. is not really playing for that. Payton Watson, I don't think has played for Denver at all. Like, could you see them trading?
Like valuing Peyton Watson as a first rounder.
Like, well, he was a first round pick from last year. That means he had first round value. No, I'm not saying that was just a joke. But
the thing is it might not end up being a joke.
Yeah,
because we've already seen this front office do it. Oh goodness, yeah. So what are your expectations then? Like, what do you expect? What do you expect to be feeling on February 9th at like 1 p.m.?
Yeah. I'm expecting to be... Well, I never expect to be feeling good with the Blazers. So I can't lie and say I'm expecting to feel good. I'm hopeful that they pull off a good move based on some of the names I've been hearing they're interested in. But you know, it's still the Blazers, so we don't have good things. So yeah.
Like, trust me, I'm not gonna go here and just like for the hell of it kill the hype for the trade deadline.
Right.
You guys should still be hyped for the trade deadline.
I mean, it's still
just
awesome
be ready
trades.
is all I'm gonna say. Just be ready for disappointment. Okay, I'm gonna do a poll. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, like the stream if you haven't already. It helps us out. Hit that like button. We have 45 likes, 230 viewers. Hit that like button. What were you gonna say?
Okay, so this is where I'm at, and it's like, this is gonna sound like a cop out, but like, this is how I truly feel. If we're sitting here in a couple weeks and we traded Nurk and Hart for absolute crap back, like worst players, and like last year's, you know, Clippers deal, and we just like thought they were the problem and we just got rid of them and just replaced them with lesser players or whatever, and avoided the tax. Would that surprise me? No, I like think that's a legit possibility right now that we're like actually shopping those two to like just to mix things up, you know. But would it also surprise me if they make like a really smart trade and salvage this thing? Like, yeah, I would be like shocked that they actually pulled it off, but like I don't think that's like completely out of the realm of possibility, so I'm trying to remain optimistic and hopeful based on what I've heard. But yeah, like I could also see us being even more like angry than we were at the trade deadline last year.
There's the chat poll chat. What are you expecting? I did disappointing, angering, okay, and positive.
Yeah.
Those words don't really fit together. I didn't know how to word the chat or the poll option.
Like, okay, I don't know what okay would be, because like Reese
it's
says,
like we do nothing. I don't know.
Like Reese says, you know, like Hart's a perfect sixth man, so like even if we trade him and get back two okay pieces, I mean, I guess that's okay, but like okay is still not helping this team, you know. So yeah,
I'm expecting to be angry. I'm just expecting to be angry. That's why I put that as an option. Like, disappointing is like, oh man, like we didn't get a great return for Nurkic, and now he's gone, and we're gonna start somebody that's not even better. Like, that's disappointing, right? Angering would be last year.
What if they get something for Gary Payton?
I mean, if they got something for Gary Payton, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I don't. There's just I got bad vibes from the Gary Payton situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that signing has already failed.
Yeah. What if it? I mean, I'm not saying this, but like, I mean, what if we got as good of a player that his role provides, like a Payton for Caruso type trade? I think that doesn't quite work financially, but like, and keep us under
close.
Under the tax.
Puts us in the tax.
Yeah, but like that type of trade, I think.
Yeah, I mean that'd be okay. Like,
not that I think Caruso's a better fit, but you know, maybe he's just more, you know, willing to be a team player or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Vega asks, what is a terrible trade deadline to you, though? Is it doing nothing or making our team worse? A terrible trade deadline would be taking our team even further away from making productive gains on a specific direction. It's like not choosing a direction would be closer to okay. A terrible trade deadline would actually be taking us further away from like having a clear direction. There are trades out there that are possible to take us further away from having a clear direction. I don't know exactly what that'd be, but
well, someone you like Shams just said this afternoon, Kendrick Williams is not available, and if he was, OKC has already gotten a first-round pick offer for him.
Exactly.
So
it's a buyer's market.
There goes that. It also this article was from someone I don't really know how reliant he is, but we do know that Jakob Poeltl is apparently available, and the article specifically mentioned the Blazers as one of, I think, 3 or 4 teams that had contacted the Spurs inquiring about him. So that makes me think that it's possible they are thinking about moving on from Nurk, and yeah. So
here's what a terrible trade deadline would be to me. Okay, we change the protections to be like top 8 protected pick to Chicago, or it turns into seconds or something like that, right? Because I don't think we'll ever unprotected. And then we trade. So then we can trade a future first along with like Nurkic, and we turn that into like Jakob Poeltl and
Josh Richardson.
Like Josh Richardson. So we trade another future first. If we end up like missing the playoffs but end up with the 10th pick, we lose it, and then we don't get any better.
And then we sign Poeltl to the 4-year, $80 million contract he wants to sign in the offseason.
And then we pay Poeltl more than we paid Nurkic. I don't think Poeltl's any better than Nurkic. Like, that would be a terrible trade deadline to me, because it's not advancing the team in any sort of direction.
Yeah, I don't. Clutch Points article, according to Max Anderson, says the Blazers, or the article wants the Blazers to move off Grant and Winslow. I mean, the only way you move off Grant is if he gives you the indication he's no longer willing to stay here long term, which I have no indications that that's even close to being true. So, but yeah, I don't like lightly protecting or unprotecting that pick to move off a Nurk or whatever. You just signed him the offseason. That's not something you can blame on Olshey or whatever, like some of his other trades. So you chose to roll with Nurkic last offseason. So if you have to pay a few months later to get off of Nurkic, that's terrible GMing.
Who would supposedly want Josh Hart? Who do you think would want Josh Hart the most? Is there any teams out there you think would make a major push for him?
Yeah, so there are a lot of teams. Some of them are dependent on other moves they make, because a lot of the same teams are interested in like Jay Crowder too as well. So
yeah, I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Yeah. So New York, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Miami.
Oh, I have the perfect terrible trade deadline trade. It's Josh Hart for like Cam Reddish, and then we take those savings and trade for like a $5 million player from another team that's just not as good as Cam Johnson or PJ Washington, and we give up like multiple seconds at Keon or something.
Or we take on like Evan Fournier or something.
Oh God, I mean that's just. But like who's like another $5 to $6 million contract out there that's like worse than those guys? That's worse than Rui.
I don't know, top of my head, but I'm sure there's plenty of those guys out there.
Yeah, that is my prediction as of right now. You can clip it. I've made multiple predictions, and some of them contradict. But as of now, I have a gut feeling it's going to be something like Josh Hart to the Knicks. We get back Cam Reddish, and That's like all, the Knicks have to give up more salary, but that's like all the Knicks give up for him. And then we save $6 million or almost $7 million in that trade. So then we go somewhere else and take on a player making like $6 to $7 million for nothing that just is not that good. And we basically trade Josh Hart for Cam Reddish and another very mid player, and we get worse, and we don't get picks, and we don't go any direction. That is my gut feeling right now. Is this going to be some crap like that? And a lot of people want Cam Reddish, but a lot of people overrate the hell out of Cam Reddish. We've talked about that before.
Like if we somehow parlayed that into like Cam Reddish and one of those other two guys, though, I wouldn't have as much of a problem.
That's fine. That's why I'm saying a worse guy.
Yeah.
Like I just, or even if it's not Cam Reddish, I just feel like we're gonna trade Josh Hart for two worse players.
Yeah.
And not get any other assets out of it.
But like New York has a bunch of firsts, so say they're willing to give up a first for Hart and Cam and like whatever they can throw in whatever contract they want. So like that first goes to Charlotte, and then we get PJ. Like I think there's some stuff to work out there.
I mean, do you think they give up Cam in a first for Josh Hart? I don't think they do. I don't think Josh Hart has that much value right now.
I think he still does, and I think a lot of teams just think he's being played in the wrong role or position, and there's a lot of teams that do. I mean, Jay Crowder still has value, and he's chosen not to play on a championship level team. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we can get the value that, I don't know, because he's having a down year. Obviously, last year he averaged almost 15 points per game, pretty efficiently. We need to get that sort of value from him. Obviously, can pass the ball, 4 assists per game, like can play some defense. I'm just worried that this down year is going to turn into the Blazers not getting enough for him. That's my biggest fear. If you can get a first and use the savings, and you can like get Cam Johnson plus something else for Josh Hart, you absolutely do it. But I just have a feeling it's not going to be that good. Kenyon Martin Jr. doesn't really do anything for this team, in my opinion. I've seen people ask about him. I am not high on him whatsoever. Anyway, we'll talk about this more tonight on the postgame show. Subscribe to the main channel if you haven't already. If you just found us, Blazers Uprise without the live is our main channel. I'll post a link in the description, or I'll post a link in the chat, and we'll talk more trades tonight as part of the postgame show. Win or lose, because we're playing the Spurs, like... That's the plan. So go subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to this one if you haven't already. Anything else you want to touch upon?
No, I think that was pretty much it for this episode.
Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed. Trust me, I hope to be wrong. I don't like expecting it to be bad. It's just, I've been disappointed on a lot of past trade deadline streams, and at this point, given the situation especially, I don't expect anything good.
There is a rumor that Miami is one of the teams that's interested in Cam Reddish. Maybe they think they can fix him, or could play a good role with the players they have. Like he'd be a good fit, but like maybe the holdup is that Miami or New York doesn't want anything from Miami or whatever, so maybe you find a way to get in on part of that. But yeah.
Yep. Meanwhile, as far as scores live right now, the Magic are beating the Celtics 43-29, and the Bucks are blowing out the Pistons 59-32. So those two games looking good for me so far. Feeling confident.
DJ Vega says Reddish needs to be on a rebuilding team so he can get minutes and make mistakes. Yeah, but like, why then aren't teams, if he only costs a second, why would a rebuilding team take a chance on him?
Reddish just isn't good. He's just a big name. His name is bigger than him as a player. His name has more hype than it should, because he was a top prospect and played with Zion in college, is what it is. Like, I don't understand the love for Reddish at all. There's 2 teams
I mean,
that
he
have
has-
given up on him.
There's a couple of flashes he's shown in scoring, and
But like, how many players show flashes?
no, I know. I'm just saying, like, I understand that, but yeah, I do think at some point teams don't want to have to like pay him in the offseason either. So
Yeah, we'll see how this goes down. We'll have more coverage, obviously. And then NBA Uprise, link in the description box below. That's our NBA channel. I'm doing trade deadline previews for teams, and I'll do some other content, trade predictions, that sort of thing, a lot of trade talk as we lead up to the deadline. And then subscribe to our main channel, Blazers Uprise. I just posted it in chat. And I think that link is also, should be in the description box below, but it's not. So just search Blazers Uprise, find the channel, and we'll have a post-game stream after Blazers Spurs over on that main channel, so hopefully you can tune in. Anyway, that's a wrap for this episode of Blazers Uprise Live presented by Bet Online. Use that promo code BELIEVE, 50% rewards, BLEAV. If you think the Blazers are going to get blown out tonight, there are 8.5-point favorites, so you can get some good action there if you want it. Anyway, we'll catch you later on tonight. Have a good rest of your day. Hopefully the Blazers can figure something out in this game tonight, and with the trade deadline coming up, we'll have you covered. Anyway, until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.